Good afternoon, everybody out there. This is Arjax coming at you with another tanking guide. This dungeon is called Hellfire Ramparts. It's a fairly easy dungeon. I enjoy this dungeon. It's one of my favorite dungeons to run, and thankfully I enjoy it because if you level like I do through tanking exclusively, this dungeon is something you're going to run 20 to 30 times in your leveling progression. So what you're going to see here in this first part, I'm going to pull these two mobs together. You can pull more than this. I'm just running it rather safe for the group. The only thing you have to worry about with pulling multiple groups is there's casters in these. Obviously you can see here, and those casters don't like to be pulled without an LOS or an interrupt pull. So I just pulled a bunch of groups, and I'm coming back here to pick up the casters again. They were still aggroed on me, but it spreads them out, so I try to get the groups together so that the AoE damage can take hold and we can run through this as quick as possible. So the quests in this dungeon are very simple. I've already run the quests, so you're not going to see them here. One thing to note with the quests is don't necessarily worry about getting them done the first time through. Pick up the supplies. If other people in the group, like DPS or heals, is running all over the place trying to pick up all the quest items, I just normally let them do it because I know that I'm going to run this dungeon over and over again. So it's not a big deal to me. I'll get them done normally on my second run, if not my first run. There's enough quest items in the dungeon for more than 2 or 3 people to get it done. So you being the tank, you're not going to really have to worry about necessarily getting all the quest items. That's something I like to do as a tank, let the other people pick them up, because our queue times for tank is ridiculously low, and whereas theirs are 10 to 20 minutes each, and if they're doing randoms, they might not get this dungeon again and not have an opportunity to complete those quests. So that's just something that I try to do to be nice to everybody, but yeah, it's up to you. So there's a boss over here. Depending on your group and depending on your level, you can either pull him or not pull him. As you can see here, I didn't pull him with the initial group. He may get pulled anyways. Not a big deal if he does. This group is more than tough enough for me to pull him, but like I said, I'm trying to be safe in this dungeon so that there isn't any unexpected wipes or deaths. So you see there, he just pulled. He walks up and down, so that's something else you have to be careful of in this dungeon. If your group isn't mid-level for this dungeon, he can wipe you. Obviously, he's not going to wipe us here, so I'm going to pick up the rest of the ads just to speed the dungeon along a little bit. But he's fairly easy, and if you're running the quest, you need to loot off from him to get a quest item. But other than that, really easy to do. Make sure that if you guys aren't strong enough to pull him with a bunch of ads, that you keep track of where he is, because like you saw there, I didn't go out and intentionally pull him. He walked to me and was aggroed. Now, if you don't want him to aggro because the group isn't mid-level for the dungeon, make sure that you don't aggro him, because you will wipe. Or you have a strong possibility, rather. I'm not going to say you're going to wipe, but... So this is a group of casters here, rather. So I hit them, and then I come up here and I grab these 2 melee guys, and I'm going to bring them back and down these ads all together. They're very easy. This is a fairly easy pull for anybody to pull off. Yep, that's pretty much it. So the next room that you're going to go into, there's 5 or 6 groups of ads. If you're mid-range for the dungeon, you can pull them all. If not, you can pull them individually, depending on your DPS, so that they don't accidentally aggro them. As I've noticed with this group, it's more than okay to pull all of these guys, so I'm going to pull them. The one thing to be aware of is there's casters in this group, so you see here I'm running back to get them into the AoE range so that I can AoE them down. So there's 2 bosses left here. A lot of people think you get a bunch of achievements for downing the boss off here to the left. So in this dungeon you're actually going to see 2 of the DPS drop after that because they assumed the dungeon run was done. It's not done. You got a final boss to complete for the dungeon. I know the first time that I ran this dungeon after we downed this boss, I left. So that's why I'm throwing it out here. And additionally, 2 of the DPS do leave the dungeon after downing this boss. These guys aren't necessarily needed to down before aggroing the boss. They're fairly weak, but it's always a good idea to aggro them down. This boss, I'm gonna pull him back here a little bit so that after we down him, we can just continue on without having to run, save a little bit of time. Now, something else to note, if you try pulling him too far, like you're just going to aggro him and run to the next boss, he will reset and his damage will reset and you'll have to redown him. That's why I stop at the entrance here. I have run him too far and caused it to reset. Just giving you another information so that you don't make the same mistakes that I've made through learning this dungeon. So, as you can see there, just one of the DPS left. I thought 2 of them left. Oh, there is the second one. They were in a group together. Not surprising. There's nothing in this progression that we did that would have caused them to leave the group. So I'm pretty sure that the reason why they left was because they thought the dungeon was over. Like I said, it happens once in a while. But it's not going to be a big deal here. The healer and Pashi and I can easily down the boss, and we do. It'd have been nice if they would have stayed in, but as you can see, they're the bottom 2 DPS, so the damage that we lost wasn't really all that terribly much. So as you can see here, like in my previous videos, I always turn the bosses back towards the DPS to min-max the hit percentage. Not sure if it really has a whole lot of effect here in these lower level dungeons, but it is one of those things that do affect end of game content, and everybody at that level tries to min-max. So it's just one of those habits that you get into and you like to maintain so that you're not that guy. So after he drops here, you have to wait a little bit. His loot's actually over here in this chest, and that's the end of the dungeon. If you like my video, please comment, like below, and subscribe. Arjax out.